My SMA type 1 child presented like an SMA type 0. So yes, she does have 2 copies of the SMN2 gene, but she's very severe, and people don't believe me when I say she is as severe as she is. They can't believe where she's at in her development. And what were her symptoms? Well, in utero, she was already digressing at 20 weeks. I had a perfectly good, healthy baby before I had my SMA child. Like, everything went great. But then when I was pregnant my second time, man, I felt like I had a bowling ball between my legs from 20 weeks on. Like, the baby literally sunk in my belly, and that shouldn't be happening with a baby. So super uncomfortable. With my first child, like, the baby just came out. I pushed. I didn't have an epidural because I went into labor so fast. My second baby, like, I pushed, and like, I pushed, and the doctor pulled the baby out. Already her cry was a pitiful little weak cry, and so she was already in respiratory distress. She didn't move at all, and she didn't have head control. Those are your symptoms for type 0 SMA, and they usually don't live very long. Most die at birth, and then they don't live very long. Without medical intervention, my baby would have died at 7 weeks old. And she was on life support. We did get the Spinraza for the next 2.5 months, and that plus some awesome respiratory care, and most importantly, movement lesson. I was able to take my baby home and give her the experiences of her developmental milestones. I didn't have any hope for milestones, and I found movement lesson, and it allowed me to give her the experience of development, even though my baby couldn't move. And as a result, she can do what she does because she's had the experiences of development, and I continue to reinforce those experiences in her without the performances. I don't put her in a stander. I don't put her in a walker very often because we're still working on movement foundations. She does have scoliosis, but guess what? I'm gonna reverse that. Like, they want to do rod surgery, but coming from symptomatic type 0, okay, presentation of a type 0, like, my daughter cannot handle rod surgery. Like, I just cannot get that through to the doctors. Like, that would just, it's not even an option for her. It's too much for her system. And so, like and subscribe to this channel. I want to share my journey that I've had with my daughter and that I continue to have. I'm actually publishing a book, SMA It's Not Too Late. It will be on Amazon, but you'll get my journal entries for the first 2 years of my baby's life and what I did and how I helped her experience development, because I wasn't sure what was going to happen. And in the meantime, I had another SMA baby who presented more like a type 1 SMA baby, and so now she's walking, doing things like that with the Spinraza. But we're actually going to change my first child over to the Ristaplam because I'm working on her developmental milestones, and every time we go in and do that spinal tap, I lose a lot of developmental movements, and so I need to have her spine. And so we're going to go and switch over to that, and see where we go from there. So like and subscribe to the channel so you can learn how to help your SMA child thrive with the best quality of life possible.